last year's British entry to the Eurovision Song Contest. What the hell just happened? That's my life right now. Hello, I'm Alan Cumming, and I'm going to take 10 with Deadline. Players, behold, your fate awaits.
Oh boy.
Come hither, players, come hither.
Does hither mean here?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
If you need an arm coming down the stairs.
Oh, thank you so much.
Before the players have even set foot inside my castle, I am going to pick my first traitor. But that's not all. That traitor is a secret, and nobody will know their identity, not even you. If you were a contestant on the Traitors, what would be your strategy? Lay low. Sweet chariot. And sort of try my absolute best not to be subsumed into the Lord of the Flies pack mentality that is kind of inevitable when you're trapped in a bubble with a bunch of crazy people. That would be it. I would desperately try it every day and think, I am not Piggy. I am not Piggy. I have the conch. You know, things like that. If you were a contestant on the Traitors, I've just asked. I would also try not to repeat myself. What fascinates you most watching how the contestants behave under pressure? I think it's really seeing how they sort of psychologically break down. It is psychological torture. There's no two ways about it. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't become so obsessed about one thing. And the fact that they don't have the normal stimuli like their phones or access to the outside world and to their friends and to all that stuff. And they are trapped in this hotel and in this, in cars that just with other players, and it's their entire world is the Traitors. So I find it really fascinating watching them slowly just fall apart and then kind of come through it. It's really, it is like a really amazing psychological experiment, and I feel very privileged that I get to be a part of the person who makes them do these things, but also to witness it, because it's fascinating to me. And the thing I find most fascinating is I just can't understand why they make such stupid decisions sometimes. Now it's been like 4 times. I think, I see, it's this part of the process where I just balk at their illogical dopiness. It's galling, but I feel it's a necessary part of this process that they all go through. So it's kind of that's really fascinating just watching, and hopefully I'm learning and getting more precise about what happens when. But of course, there's always wild cards. That's the great thing about the show. It's a great structure, but actually, what makes it idiosyncratic is the personalities involved. Has hosting the Traitors taught you how to spot a liar in real life? No, I don't think I have gained those skills from. What is great about the Traitors is you watch people lie. I think that's why people like it. We watch people having to lie, because we all lie all the time. We all lie. I've probably lied since I walked into the studio. Just little ones. And so we know that we do that. And so it's nice to watch people and see how good they are. Are they better than me? And how do they deal with big lies? I think when you're well known, you have to get very good at understanding why people, when you meet someone, what they want. Because just the whole thing of celebrity means people want near it. Nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your talent or your skill or whatever it is that's made you famous. The very fact you are famous, people in this country especially, are it's like, in Scotland we say it's like a clegg round manure. Like flies around shit, is basically the translation of that. And so I think you get really good at either thinking, they're a bit of a starfucker, but that's fine. We're having a nice time tonight, or you sort of go, oh, I see what you. And so you kind of get better at letting the people in who you really genuinely like. So you get better at seeking out authenticity, actually, and good people over the years. But it's a long, hard process to get there. But the Traitors didn't teach me that. I'd learned that in the University of Life's Hard Knocks. What's been the most shocking moment for you on the Traitors so far? I think probably things like the round tables where people have said such terrible things to each other. And like when I felt, and some of the stuff that didn't make air, where I felt I was going to have to break up a fight. The sort of level of potential violence was huge at certain points. Yeah, like just some of the things that people said to each other. I loved when Phaedra said to Pilot Pete, this ain't The Bachelor and I don't have to kiss your ass for a rose. I gasped. Because it was pretty intense and it kind of came out of nowhere. And also, what a brilliant line. Like how poetic and sort of snappy. So those sorts of things make me gasp. Like sometimes I'm doing the thing that's the most shocking. You know, when I went, you jab, like that. I was so excited because I was doing something and having to be a character, but inside I was also like, ah! So that happens quite a lot. I love when I smash the coffin down on people's faces and things like that. So the most shocking things are, sometimes I do the most shocking things. I'm also shocked about how they managed to do their makeup so fast. Like I seem to be in the makeup chair for hours just to look like a middle-aged man. And these girls, like they're at the missions and falling in the locks, and then like half an hour later they're like, camera ready. So that's shocking. Outside of the show, where in your life do you most enjoy a little bit of drama? I'm not really like drama in my life. I'm not one of those people who enjoys drama. I've had enough. I've had enough in my real life. I have enough in my working life. So that's where I get it. I like my real life is calm. Well, I mean, everyone would probably think that's hilarious. Yes, people are laughing off stage now, but it's friendly and it's nice and it's not. I don't like drama. I don't need that around. I actually, I'm just like, no, thank you. Or if there is, I confront it and just sort it out. But my working life is so full of drama. I mean, the Traitors obviously is but also I just did this new Russell T Davies show that's coming out called Tiptoe. This is so insane and desperate, and it's so difficult. It was like it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do as an actor, and the most bleak and the most sort of vulnerable and stuff like that. So I get all that stuff from my work in spades. Even if it was just the Traitors, that would be enough. But now I'm doing these other things too. What's your most glamorous bad habit? What would be my most glamorous bad habit? Kind of buying houses, I suppose. Does that count? I do have too many. I like I like traveling posh. It just means it's usually because you have to get somewhere you've got to try and not look so tired, and also you don't get so bothered by people. Like I always, things like that. That's something I have made peace with myself about, that if it means that less people will talk to me on a train, I'll go first class. What really pisses me off is when you fly first class on a plane and the flight attendants keep chatting to you and want selfies. I'm like, come on, that's the whole point of me being here, for this not to happen. Anyway, I think that's probably, I wouldn't say it is a bad habit, but it's a little profligate. What does a really good day look like to you? Well, I'm hoping to have this day very soon, like the end of this week. So I have a house in the Highlands of Scotland. I'm going to go there. I've got an aga, and it's been done up, this house. So I've not used this new aga. An aga is like a stove thing, and it's like a big sort of thing in your kitchen, like a cooker, like a range, and it's got these things that you lift up and you put the pots on, and then all the heat, and it makes the kitchen warm, and you've got oven things down here too. It's like it's like what very rich people get to pretend they're living in the country in the olden days. That's basically what it is. Old wankers like me say, oh, I love my aga. And I love, sitting against it. I'm keeping my bum warm whilst my gluten-free scones are cooking in the oven. So that's what I want to do. And I also have a little loch. Well, it's a pond really, but I call it Loch Lala after my dog. And there's a sauna. I have a sauna, and I like going in the sauna, and it's this lovely little sauna on the edge of the loch, and then there's a little deck, and I go in the sauna, get really hot, and then I jump in Loch Lala, and I scream and swim as fast as possible back to the shore. It really makes you, it's like, it's not, so I don't really like, what do you call it, wild swimming, because I don't have all that kind of breathing to go in. It takes, for ages to go into the cold water. I like being hot and then having a sort of plunge. And then, but you get the same benefit, I think. I really love that. So I would do that. I would make scones, and I would just hang out at home and just chill out and read a book. I'm reading Douglas Stewart's new novel, John of John, that's just so magnificent. I really feel like, I have a life when I'm at home and I'm reading a book and I don't have to answer a million calls or Zooms. So that would be my good day. If you had to assign a theme song to your life right now, what would it be? Scream If You Want to Go Faster by Jerry Halliwell. The last year's British entry to the Eurovision Song Contest. What the hell just happened? That's my life right now, on a daily basis. What films or TV shows are your go-to comfort watch? What films or TV shows are your go-to comfort watch? Films I watch again and again are Waiting for Guffman, the Christopher Guest film about a little town in Missouri that's putting on a show, and it's sort of, a little community show, and it's Parker Posey and Eugene Levy and lovely Catherine O'Hara and people like that, and Christopher Guest. I mean, it's just, I love it so much. I love it because it's got really hilarious things about performance and being an actor and all that. But also, it's got really. I watched it when I first came to this country, and it taught me quite a lot about America, because I thought if that's being pilloried, then it must exist. I also love Auntie Mame, the Rosalind Russell film. She's sort of like this crazy, glamorous lady who sort of has to look after her little nephew when the dad dies, and so she suddenly has this child she's got to, and she, we're going to India, we're going to see the sights, the lights, the jewels, she's like that. I sort of fancy myself as a bit of an Auntie Mame. I don't have a child, but I sort of love the idea of, I think I feel I have such great opportunities and things and, wealth, I suppose, but not in money wealth necessarily, but wealth of experiences and amazing things happen to me. And so I love when I can share that with other people, and especially with younger people. And so I suppose that's a bit Auntie-Mamie. I like that so much. But it's such a fun film. And also I think of old films. I love Singing in the Rain. At Christmas, we always watch a film that I'm in. It's rather egomaniacally, but there's a film I did called Bernard and the Genie that Richard Curtis wrote, and I did it for the BBC like 1,000 years ago. And Lenny Henry was I'm a little art dealer, and I find this anyway. And then I rub a thing, and a genie comes and helps me, and it's cute. But we always watch it because it's things like now, I can't get hold of him. Now we just go boop boop boop, hello. So it's really dated in that way about certain things. But also then recently they made a remake of it when Melissa McCarthy played the genie and Papa Estudio played me, and I was in it. So Rowan Atkinson was my evil boss in the original one, and now I was asked to play the evil boss. So I went from the cute boy to the evil boss in like 30 years. But I like the first one better. What's a completely irrational belief you hold onto simply because it entertains you? That Martha Stewart owns Martha's Vineyard. And if she doesn't, I think she should. In Avengers Doomsday, you're returning to the role of Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler, that you played in X2 X-Men United. How does it feel to be back? It feels really great, it was actually a really lovely thing to go back to something, because it was a horrible experience the first time round. I mean, horrible. I really like the film. I think it's a great film. I mean, I'm not a great aficionado of all superhero films by any means, but I really enjoyed that film. But it was absolutely... There were things that happened on the set that were just shocking to me, and were the working environment was very, very wrong and very just unacceptable. And we all kind of, we all have talked about it in various ways over the years, but, you know. So to go back, and in a way, that experience sort of kind of set me off in a different direction, actually, because after that, I was doing these big sort of blockbustery type films, and after that, I kind of just did lots of, you know, for a few years, did lots of little independent films and went back to the theatre a bit. And I really, when I was writing one of my books, I thought, oh gosh, that's so interesting. You stand back from yourself and you see a pattern. And I just thought, oh, I did that then, and it wasn't really for me, and I enjoyed that, but you know, I've no rush to. So anyway, going back to it after all these years was great because I really liked the character, and so to go back and play him now, and also this film is like it's like superhero soup. There's so many of them in it. I just can't keep up. Also, they're really hard scripts to read, superhero films, because it's all action, and then the names, everyone's got two names, you know. And sometimes there was secret names in it because they didn't want to let out that this certain character was coming back, so they called them somebody else in the script. It was so confusing. So I did it sort of piecemeal. But I really liked the people, the brothers who directed it, and everyone was so nice. And we shot it at Pinewood, and I actually got to do another bit of filming on it. You know, I'm not doing it very much, but I really had fun, and it was a really lovely thing to go back to. It was sort of a nice cyclic, you know, not healing, because I didn't need to be healed, but it was lovely to go back to something that I never thought I was going to go back to and have a lovely time doing it. And also, it's kind of great being a superhero at 60. That's not so bad. You're playing Sandy Frink again in the new Romy and Michele sequel, hopefully, yes, after being in the original 1997 film. Can you tell us anything about the sequel? Well, no, clearly, no, sworn to secrecy. I mean, it's like a lot of the people come back, and, you know, I mean, it's funny, right now, this phase of my life, I'm doing lots of things, you know, returning to things that I did 30 or more years ago, 25, 30, 35, like X-Men, you know, like Avengers, like Romy and Michele. I made that in 1996, so that's 30 years ago. Right now, I'm actually I'm in America. I'm in Los Angeles right now, but I'm in a week off from touring a show in Scotland, which is a musical I've written with my friends based on a sitcom that me and my friend wrote 30 years ago. So going back to that is really crazy, and just feeling the love that people have for these characters that we just wrote 3 hours of television 30 years ago. And then with that same person, I wrote another thing called Victor and Barry. It was 40 years since we made them up a couple of years ago, so we wrote a book about that. So I went back to that. Going back to Scotland, to the theatre, you know, I run a theatre now. I'm an artistic director of Pitlochry Festival Theatre. And that, to me, is very much going back to how I started off in doing subsidised theatre in Scotland. So it's a really nice thing to go back to shows or films or people that you did all these years ago, and just to see where they are now in terms of the characters, and how and also when you're working with the same people again, how you've changed and how they've changed. It's a really lovely sort of privileged thing to be able to kind of gauge where you are in your life according to how other people have changed or not. And also, sometimes it's nice to go back to characters and have a go at them again. Like on Romy and Michele, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. It was the first ever film I'd made in America. I couldn't understand why they cast me. I still can't. I mean, I know I'm good in it and everything, but it was this big studio film, and, you know, Lisa was huge. Friends was like the biggest show in the world, and Mira had just won an Oscar. It was a big deal, and I was like the lead boy in it. I mean, I'm grateful, but I really didn't know. I probably, you know, it was probably fortuitous for me. I didn't really. If I overthought it, I might have done it differently and not as well. But like, I didn't even know how you pronounce Tucson. I thought it was Tucson. That's how dopey I was. I'd only literally been in America, you know, a number of months. Yeah, so I will be pronouncing Tucson correctly in the sequel. I can tell you that. Thank you for watching Take 10 with Deadline.